Commander Zixthal adjusted his cranial sensors as the holographic display flickered to life aboard the flagship Dominion's edge. The blue-green marble of Earth rotated slowly before him, its surface dotted with the primitive settlements of a species the Galactic Council had deemed technologically insignificant. "Preliminary scans complete, Commander," reported his tactical officer, her forearms dancing across the control interface. "No orbital defense platforms detected. No energy shields surrounding the planet. Their most advanced vessels appear to be chemical propulsion craft, barely capable of reaching their own moon." Zixthal's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. The hegemony's expansion protocols were clear. Identify resource-rich worlds with minimal defensive capabilities, then proceed with standard subjugation procedures. Earth possessed vast water reserves, diverse biological material, and a conveniently vulnerable population of approximately 8 billion beings. "Broadcast the standard surrender demand," he ordered. 72-hour compliance window. These humans will submit or face orbital bombardment. The message transmitted across all electromagnetic frequencies, translated into the planet's primary languages. Zixthal expected the usual response pattern: initial panic, desperate pleas for our mercy, then inevitable capitulation. Instead, his communications officer's expression grew increasingly perplexed. "Commander, we're receiving unusual responses." "Define unusual." "Multiple transmissions from various population centers. Some appear to be laughing, others contain what our translators identify as creative profanity in over 200 linguistic variants. One particular message simply reads, 'Come and take it.'" Zixthal's confidence wavered slightly. In 3 decades of conquest, he'd never encountered such defiance from a pre-spaceflight civilization. "Perhaps they don't comprehend the gravity of their situation. Proceed with the demonstration bombardment. Target one of their smaller landmasses." The fleet's particle cannons charged with ominous energy. Targeting systems locked onto a barren island in the planet's northern hemisphere. The devastating beam lanced downward, capable of vaporizing a small mountain. It struck something invisible 300 kilometers above the surface and dissipated harmlessly. "What just happened?" Zixthal demanded. His science officer's tentacles writhed nervously. "Energy readings indicate some form of defensive barrier, but our sensors detected nothing. It's as if the beam simply stopped existing." Before Zixthal could respond, proximity alarms shrieked throughout the bridge. Space around the fleet began to shimmer and warp. Where nothing had existed moments before, sleek vessels materialized as if emerging from another dimension entirely. The human ships defied conventional design principles. They possessed no visible weapons arrays, no obvious propulsion systems, yet they moved with impossible grace through the void. Their hulls seemed to absorb light itself, creating patches of absolute darkness against the starfield. "Impossible," Zixthal whispered. "Our intelligence reports showed no advanced technology." His communications officer's voice cracked with fear. "Incoming transmission from the human vessels." The main screen activated, revealing a human face. The being appeared deceptively fragile, soft skin, small teeth, no natural armor. Yet something in its eyes suggested depths of experience that made Zixthal's combat-hardened soul recoil. "I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force," the human said calmly. "You have attempted to attack a sovereign world. This constitutes an act of war. Your planet showed no defensive capabilities," Zixthal protested. "Our scans detected primitive technology at best." Admiral Chen smiled, and the expression held no warmth whatsoever. "You scanned what we wanted you to scan. Humanity learned long ago that the most effective defense is the one your enemy never sees coming." Zixthal's tactical displays erupted in chaos. Energy signatures blazed to life throughout the solar system. Massive installations hidden within asteroids, weapon platforms disguised as space debris. Even the planet's own moon revealed itself as an artificial construct bristling with defensive systems. "You see, Commander," Chen continued, "we've been aware of your hegemony for quite some time. Your previous conquests weren't as subtle as you believed." We've spent the last 50 years preparing for this moment. The first human weapon fired, not at the alien ships, but at space itself. Reality seemed to fold, and 3 hegemony cruisers simply vanished, transported instantly into the heart of their own sun. No explosions, no debris. They were simply gone. Dimensional displacement cannons, Chen explained conversationally. We learned much from studying the quantum foam beneath our reality. Amazing what you can accomplish when you stop thinking in 3 dimensions. Panic spread through the hegemony fleet as more ships disappeared. Zixthal ordered a retreat, but found his vessels unable to enter hyperspace. The humans had somehow locked down the entire system's dimensional matrix. Temporal stasis fields, Chen noted, observing his growing desperation. We borrowed that concept from a species you conquered 12 years ago. The Vreks were quite helpful in our research, once we liberated their survivors. Zixthal's blood ran cold. Liberated? Did you really think Earth was humanity's only world, Commander? We've been quietly evacuating the populations of your conquered species for decades, building them new homes, teaching them to fight back. The remaining alien ships found themselves surrounded not just by human vessels, but by ships of dozens, of different designs. All the species the hegemony had supposedly destroyed now armed with human technology and burning for revenge. Admiral Chen's expression grew serious. You made one critical error in your assessment of humanity, Commander. You assumed that because we appeared primitive, we were helpless. What you failed to understand is that humans excel at one thing above all others: adapting, learning, growing, stronger from adversity. She leaned forward, her voice carrying the weight of absolute certainty. We've studied your tactics, reverse-engineered your technology, and united every species you've wronged. Today, the age of the hegemony ends. Zixthal's flagship shuddered as boarding pods materialized directly through their shields. The last thing he saw before losing consciousness was a human soldier, wearing armor that seemed to bend light itself, standing over him with weapons that hummed with barely contained power. When he awoke, he found himself in a comfortable cell, aboard a human station. Admiral Chen stood outside the energy barrier holding a data pad. You're being transferred to a rehabilitation facility, she informed him. We've learned that conquest isn't the only way to build an empire. Sometimes teaching former enemies to become allies proves far more effective. Through the cell's viewport, Zixthal could see Earth, still blue and green and beautiful. But now he understood the truth. It wasn't a defenseless world awaiting conquest. It was the capital of a new kind of empire, one built not on fear and domination, but on hope, unity, and the terrifying ingenuity of a species that had turned victimhood into victory. Humanity had indeed proven they were anything but defenseless.